Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are replacing the hard drive in a 21-inch iMac from mid-2011. So this is a bit of an oldie for you guys out there. Although the video is modern, here's what you'll need. A little sensor cable. It lets the fan run properly, otherwise it's very, very loud, and you don't want that. A suction cup, that's pretty important for getting the glass panel off the front of the iMac, as we'll see in the video. A toolkit which has a T8 screwdriver and a T10. Torx screwdrivers are very important. If you're replacing RAM, oh wow, unplug your iMac, do it. Don't not do it, you have to do it. Pressing the power button should discharge some of the capacitors if you're lucky, which means you're less likely to get zapped, although treat it as you would PowerPoint. Don't put your fingers in it. This is very dangerous. You can actually get electrocuted. In fact, I have been electrocuted a few times by these iMacs because you have to reach your hands in. Anyway, you need a replacement hard drive and a caddy because we're using a 2.5-inch drive, not a 3.5. If you're using a 3.5, you don't need the converter. That's fine. We've used an IC dock though in this particular video. So let's hand over all these things again. So be very careful when working on this. You can electrocute yourself. And I have, and it hurts. It really does tingle though. It's a strange feeling. Best way to work on it is with one hand behind your back and no jewelry. Make sure you've removed all your jewelry. So here we begin. Suction cup goes on, lock it in so you can then pull it off. Now if you're going ahead and doing this on a 27-inch iMac, yeah, you gotta be careful not to flex the glass. Not so much an issue on the 21-inch iMacs. Yeah, be very careful of those hooks. They will scratch your screen, and that's not a good thing to do. Those screens are over $1,000 from Apple because they don't depreciate their stock. So we've got 8 screws. These are the T10s. The magnets will grab the screws, which can be a blessing sometimes. There's screw number 2, screw number 3. There it is. So 1, 2, 3. More magnets. Look out for these magnets. They will demagnetize your screwdriver. You'll also need a magnetizer. Or you can actually use the magnets if you're dangerous enough. 4th one was down there. And surprisingly, the other side we've got another 4, which brings us up to screw 5, 6, 7, and 8 are actually quite close to each other. I would have put 7 a little bit higher, but they chose not to. That's fine. I have no issue with that. It's not a problem. So grab your screwdriver. We're starting with the old T10. You're going to need 2 hands. I was trying to do this with one. I eventually got someone to help me with the camera work. It can be difficult. There's the magnetizer. Whoa, look at that. That's high speed. That's not... Oh, flies back in my room. Anyway, undo the screws. The magnets can catch them. If they fall back, don't worry, they can't fall back too far at this point. Just get those screws undone and you'll be good. I'm gonna catch that fly, I promise. Isn't that a nice little bunch of flowers there in the background? There we go, that's the last screw. So, 8 screws removed, 1 glass panel. And now we pull out the LCD itself. Now be very careful not to tilt the iMac forward too far or the screen could fall out and rip all the connectors off the logic board. Now this is quite a problem to have. So usually the best bet is to sort of hook your fingers in around the top bit, wedge it forward a little bit, maybe 15 degrees. And now we're going to have a look inside. We're looking at the video card heatsink there. There's the hard drive in the middle and the power supply and inverter board or LED. So make sure your iMac is unplugged. You can still get zapped if your hand touches the back of that power supply though, so be careful. So we'll start off with the V-Sync cable, which syncs the V. Good old V synchronization. Probably video, given it next to the LCD panel. Now you don't want to pull it out too far here, but you do want to try and lift. Look at this, look at my arm though, it's right across the power supply, so it's quite dangerous. If you do it from the other side, you might be better off, but I'm holding the screen with my right hand. That's disconnected. There's also another cable just next to it. So we got rid of DisplayPort there and some other cable. which I think does sensors. And there's the last one, so we've got to unhook that and whoop, out it comes. It's got sort of a lever on it. Lever? Leviosa. Now the screen's 4 cables out. The screen is good. There you go. Pull it away. Backlight. Here's all the things. Oh wow, this is exciting. Whoa! And there's the hard drive itself. Now we've got more T10 screws here, 2 securing the bracket on, or rather holding the bracket to the computer. So we remove that, and then it's a pretty simple task because all that happens is you unplug the SATA connectors. Be careful of the little airport card just below it. The antennas can come off and you'll lose airport reception, which is a good thing. But there you go. Just lifts out like that. And it's free. You've removed the hard drive. That's half the battle, and we're only 6 minutes in. This is sped up a bit. So with this, with the caddy, you pop your little hard drive in. Zip, zoop, zoop. Can be a bit fiddly. Switch your screwdriver. You need to switch your screwdriver back over to the good old T8. There it is, T8. It's a good one. It's out of focus, but it's a good one. So the screws that are actually screwed into the hard drive are T8, not T10. You can sometimes get away with using T8s in place of T10s, but not always. That's not true. You usually can. Yes, make sure you note the location of the SATA connectors on the replacement drive, or drive caddy, and the original hard drive. Because the last thing you want to do is put all the screws on the wrong way. You put them in the wrong way, it's not going to go together right. And I'm pretty sure I messed this up a few times. Thankfully we're fast forwarding through. That's just me. So even the most seasoned of repair technicians can screw this up. Get it? Screw it up, because it's a screwdriver. That's pretty bad. Yeah. There we go. So it's all installed the wrong way, so I do everything again. Learn from my mistakes, people. Now I put that little spongy thing on, that little gasket. Yeah, you want to make sure your SATA connectors line up with the SATA cables. Third time's a charm. Now I've got this sensor. Now I've got to pop this sensor on. So this is an OWC sensor for the Mid-2011 iMacs. Make sure you get it the right way around, which is pretty important. Now the sensor ended up routing in through the back of the case, so I actually had to open up the drive again, and I stuck it onto the drive. If you've got Captain tape, you can use that to help secure things in, but I found that the drive does sit pretty flush with the back of the LCD panel. And if you're lucky, you can actually get it to sort of hide underneath that video card heatsink, which is what we're looking at there. The heatsink sort of hides down there. So fiddle, fiddle, fiddle. It takes a little while, but you do eventually get it. And when you do, it is such a relief. Only to find that the bracket's facing the wrong way. Typical computers. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Wrong. Oh wait, 3 wrongs. Whoa, that's a lot of wrong. So don't do it like that. There you go, that looks much better. Much better. Let's have some Mountain Dew. Don't know why they put caffeine in it. There's the EMI gasket. It's not really needed. Because the drive is plastic. If you're using a metal drive, it's probably good. Gives you a bit more grounding, I guess. Switch back to your good old T10. Hindsight, why'd I even put it back in? That looks pretty good. 2 screws. Very easy. There's one, and there's the other. Don't know why I took so much footage of that. There's connector number 4, as you can see. Just so you know the locations. There's connector number 3 there. You can see it, it's a little black one with nothing in it. Just below the Frank connector. Good old Frank. And there's the LVD, oh no, it's a, sorry, display port on this one. And the V-Sync cable up the top there. So there's only 4 connectors and, you know, no more than a dozen screws. So it's not a bad repair overall. In this case, we were just upgrading from the old Seagate 500. Lucky it wasn't a 1 terabyte. Yep. The screen just goes back in the way it came out. It's pretty simple. Make sure you get all the connectors. As we'll have a look. Pop it in on an angle there, and there we go. So start with reversing them the way you put them in. Wow, there's some white balance. Magical. The magic of post-production. So that goes in, and then we move back over. Which one do we put in next? Probably cable 3. Just reverse it the way you took it apart. You can also have a look on, I believe iFixit probably has a good pull apart for this, if you're looking for more detail. But I figured I'd record this since I was doing this for a charity, actually. Aren't I a kind person? Make sure you like the video. I don't know, I feed off your likes. Now, the display port connectors are quite a bit fiddly, but you will get it. Just make sure you don't snap it. I had worked in Apple repair for a little while, and I'd seen some disasters where people tried to do this themselves and they end up breaking their logic board, which unfortunately does have the effect of writing off the machine sometimes, depending on the model. Alright, so now you lay the computer down and sort of push the LCD panel toward the top so that down the bottom it can actually sort of hit one of the fans if you have it pushed down too much. Or rather, the tape can actually come loose off the LCD panel over time with heat, because the heat is there because it's a very hot computer. It's essentially a giant heatsink. Genius design, Apple. Genius design. Very nice. And then pop all your screws back in, being very careful not to accidentally lose your screws to the magnets or scratch the panel. It's very difficult to get them in sometimes, but when you get them, you get them. Very nice. In it goes, and is that the last one? Or are we only halfway there? No, we're all the way there. Track down your glass, pop it back in. Be careful not to scratch the front. And yes, make sure, run your fingers down both sides to try and get the glass aligned as best you can. Don't be scared, the magnets will snap at the glass as they take it back. You can also use an air compressor to blow away the dust. But that's it. Well done, you've done it. We're all good. Hope you enjoyed. Jazz hands. And then, of course, you just need to boot up to your recovery partition and format your disk and install your operating system. Or transfer, I'd recommend Carbon Copy Cloner if you're going to do that. Thanks for watching.